Alright, I'm going to go over the Lund Rebel XS for example. Okay, so first I want to start with quick release brackets. So there's two different styles. There's one where you can pull this, you basically yank this thing out and then the trolling motor pulls straight up. Like here's a good example. And then there's the sliding one like this, where the smaller piece here is actually, this is actually upside down by the way. Smaller piece is what mounts onto your boat. This gets mounted on your trolling motor. You slide it in, you lock it with this thing here, and that's the way most of them are. However, let me just go over to this picture right here. So this is the one with the sliding thing on there. Let's just say, for example, and on my boat you have enough room. I don't know if you do have enough room on this boat. But let's just say, for example, if I put the Minn Kota anchor winch and I put it on this way, right, and it drops over the side here. What I'm going to have then is the anchor winch is going to be in the way of sliding this off. So what I could do instead is I can have the vertical, so one that rather than one that has that slides off like this, I can buy something like this. I could buy something even like this, where you pull that thing out on the side, and again there has to be enough, you got to make sure there's not obstruction on this side and that side though, in order for this to work. But I pull that out and pull it straight up, and in that way it allows me to say I use a Panther Kingpin anchor system. Now that's got a pull and twist, and it's got a little tiny plate, so it actually only sits about as high as this plate does. So that easily slides right over the top of that, so that's not a big deal. But say if I bought dig-in anchor system, and I have a big puck that sits up about this high, well then I want the one that pulls straight up, not the one that slides back, so I have something in the way. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then as far as the battery goes, so if you pull this cover up, so you take all these rods out, pull this lid up. Down below, that's where your trolling motor batteries go. There's two battery trays for a 24 volt charging or for trolling motor system. You could put a 36 volt in, but you'd have to run a cable, an additional cable all the way around the back storage. Or I guess you could maybe find a way to drill a hole through here and stick a third battery in there. But I mean, the boat is going to go on a 16-foot boat. The boat is going to go 3.4 miles an hour. On a 17-foot boat, I would imagine it would go 3. On an 18-foot pontoon, it goes 2.8. So probably, split the difference between 2.8 3.4. That's probably the speed you're going to get out of a 24 volt trolling motor on a 17-foot boat with a 7-foot beam. So anyway, those are some considerations to make. I would absolutely go with iPilot Link. Basically, all the differences of when you look at all the cables, the iPilot comes one cable short. iPilot Link has one additional cable, which is Ethernet. It's capped off. You can put a cap over it if you're not using it, and not, so you can use it just like iPilot. And later, if you put a Humminbird on there, you can just attach one anyway. So you could put a Lowrance up at your console, and then put a Humminbird on the bow, and do that a year or two from now. So it absolutely, to me, makes no sense buying iPilot. You absolutely should buy iPilot Link. And again, you don't have to network it to your Humminbird. That can wait. You can use the features, which is iPilot, and upgrade later. Otherwise, if you just buy iPilot, well, then you got to rip out the trolling motor and buy a whole new trolling motor a few years down the line. So I think that's who knows, maybe they develop a system where they have a trolling motor on the front and a trolling motor on the back 5 years from now too. So that could happen. But anyway, those are just some considerations.